S-T-E-P, that is step. S stands for stay in the world. Verses 1 to 12. And then T stands for three doers. D-O-E-R-S. Verse numbers 13 to 16. E stands for equal vision. 17 to 28. E's formula is verse number 29. Only one verse is there. So verse 1 is. Stay in the world, 1 to 12, three doers, 13 to 16, equal vision, 17 to 18, and peace, verse number 29. Just before I start, can we quickly revise the previous verse acronym, previous chapter acronyms? Chapter 1. D stands for Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan, two D's. O, ominous results. U, uncertainty. B stands for bewilderment. T stands for turning point. Chapter 2, summary of the Gita. So the acronym is Gita. G stands for Guru. First 10 verses, the Arjuna accepts Krishna as the Guru. I is for indecisiveness. Oh God, I'm not able to see that word also. Indecisiveness. Yeah. I stands for identity.
1 second. Can you just repeat it?
I'll give you later because you've not done the first 3 chapters.
But the short forms are really nice.
D-O-U-B-T, I'll give you. G-I-T-A, it's only revision. I is for identity, science of the soul, verse number 11 to 30. T stands for two dharmas, Swadharma and the Sanatan Dharma. A stands for Atmaram. Atmaram. The last verses. It's Atmaram. Where Arjuna asks the question, no, Atmaram verses are different. Till 72. Third, Guru. Guru, identity. This is revision. Guru, identity, two dharmas and Atmaram. G-I-T. Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma. Means your prescribed duties, your material responsibilities, and responsibilities as the soul.
And can you repeat the D-O-U-B-T?
Dhritarashtra. Duryodhan. O stands for ominous results. Omens. O-M-E-N-S. This time pass, don't look at it. U is uncertainty. B is bewilderment. What? Take it off. T is turning point. G is Guru. I is identity. T is two dharmas. A is Atmaram. I'm doing my duty. 3 stands. Chapter 3 is 3. मुझे याद नहीं था. T stands for, I actually don't know. Someone tell me. Tyag. First 9 verses, 1 to 9. 1 to 9 is Tyag, where Arjuna asks him, what is renunciation? What is renunciation? So Krishna tells him what exactly renunciation means. Then the next R stands for rungs of the ladder, of the yoga ladder. E stands for exemplary. How an exemplary person, how should he balance and everything. Last E stands for enemy of the soul, that is lust. Last just about 6. The 4th chapter, which we just concluded last Wednesday, is years. that you hear the Bhagavad Gita through ears. Who heard it first? Eternal knowledge. In this, there was millions of years back, the sun god, 4.1, Evam Parampara Praptam. That sun god got to know it, and he passed it down to his son, then he passed it out to his son. That way, in a parampara or in a disciplic succession, the Bhagavad Gita is being passed. That is eternal knowledge. And through eternal knowledge, when you get that knowledge, you have to have an accurate understanding. How to have accurate understanding is just 5 verses, 11 to 15. 4.11 to 4.15. Tell me if I'm wrong, I'm just... What my memory says. R is reactions. What kind of reactions are there? Good, bad, both are same. Best of Krishna consciousness. Last, S stands for sacrifices. The last verses were all types of sacrifices. Now this chapter is step. Why step?
Step up.
Yeah, because Krishna's the first shloka 5.1, is everyone there?
Yeah.
We have to read verses from 1 to 12 first, and then come back to 1. So before starting that, I'll just link chapter 4 to chapter 5. Chapter 4, Krishna presents the history of Bhagavad Gita. It's not a new thing that he's giving. He's been giving it to the kings also. This is Sanatan knowledge. It's eternally there. It's just when it is lost, Krishna comes back and to give it again. Right? And by accurate understanding, we understand how we can be free of reactions and how sacrifice is important. Again in 5.1, Arjun is still confused. Again he asks the question. Can we read only the translation of the verse?
Yeah.
Everyone together? That's also open. 5.1, chapter 5, verse number 1. No, not the verse, only the translation. Start. Arjuna said, O Krishna, first of all you asked me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Now will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is beneficial? Can you all open 3.1? 3.1. Chapter 3, verse number 1. We get help through these. Thank you. Can we read? Arjuna said, O Janardhan, O Keshava, why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare if you think that intelligence is better than fruitive work? Verse 2. My intelligence is bewildered by your equivocal instructions. Therefore, please tell me decisively which will be most beneficial for me. He's asking the same question in chapter 5. Yeah? Because somehow in his head, it's just not fitting. For him, Gyan or knowledge and working is like light and darkness. If light is there, there's no darkness. If darkness is there, that means there's no light. He thinks these are two different opposite things. Working and knowledge. A lot of people you will meet, all of them have this mental block. Spirituality means give up everything. Relation with my spouse, everything, all types of relations, emotional, physical, everything I have to give up with my spouse. With my children, they are to Maya only. Huh? Isn't it? Everyone, career mein kya rakha hai abhi to? Everything is zero, it's not going to help me at the time of death. Technically, yes. But is that the right approach? Isn't many people think like that? Don't many people think like that? When they come to spirituality, after some time that they're chanting, everyone comes and says, I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like doing that. Yes, you'll see things as they are. I'm not saying that they are not. I'm not saying that, Maya is very easy to overcome. No, it's very difficult to overcome. You will see things as they are, but that doesn't mean that you renounce it. What Krishna is going to teach, actually chapter 3 is also called Karma Yoga. What is the difference in chapter 5? What's the name of the chapter? Action in Krishna consciousness. Still Karma Yoga, but Arjun is very clear. In fact, he's practicing Karma Yoga very perfectly. He's a perfect Grihastha, perfect devotee also. That's why Krishna is sitting with him personally there, right? But why is he still confused? Krishna is not slapping him and saying, "Kya third chapter mein to bataya na, abhi wapas fifth chapter mein asking the same question." Huh? Isn't it? Sometimes you just, same questions you're asking, that means 2 chapters are over, you're still stuck on that thing only. So Krishna is giving Arjun, Krishna has arranged for Arjun to remain confused, so that he gets a chance to stress and hammer this point in our head that spirituality does not mean renunciation. Both of things can go side by side, hand in hand. Right? So this is what the entire chapter is about. Yeah. So for every journey we have to make, we can't get off the train. Suddenly, one day morning you get up, oh, I'm the soul, I'm not this body. So hurry, bolt to this body. I jump out of the building. I'm living on this body, and this soul will go back to Krishna. I jump.
So easy.
Yeah. Is it so easy? The heart needs to be purified first. So Krishna is, he's re-emphasizing what exactly sannyas means. Why working in knowledge is of utmost priority. He gives that more priority than simply renunciation with an impure heart. Yeah? So that stay in the world, don't renounce it, is what the first 12 shlokas are. Next 3, 13 to 16, he explains that if you think, that right now Arjun is thinking activity means Maya, activity means trouble. That's why many people try to renounce, they try to negate activity. There's a specific, specific movement, also specific group of people who are trying to stop activity altogether. Shanti, 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 or Nirvan, or whatever, That means just stop. Is stopping activity possible? No. In fact, later on Krishna says, you have to do something, even to maintain this body, you need to act. So who are the real doers? What that we need to understand. This is just 3 verses, 13 to 16. And then once you have this consciousness, what will be your vision through, how will you see the world? What is the right, once you're loaded with knowledge, how will you see this world? You will see it with equal vision. That is 5.17 to 28. And then finally you will attain peace. What is the what this real knowledge should culminate into? What should be your consciousness? And that's how you're going to attain peace. That is 5.29, just 1 verse. Right? So can we do 1 to 12 and then we come back for the purpose. So we reading the shlokas from 5 to 12. 5.1 to 12. 5.1 to 5.12. Can we start together? You repeat after me. Every time I ask this question. Sorry, I always ask this question. Arjuna uvacha Sannyasam karmanam Krishna Punaryogam cha samshasi Yachreyaetayorekam Tanme bruhi sunishchitam. All of us, translation. Arjuna said, O Krishna, first of all you asked me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Now will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial? 5.2 Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Sannyasah Karma Yogascha Nishreyasa Karavubhau Tayostu Karma Sannyasat Karma Yoga Vishishyate. Translation altogether. The Supreme Personality of Godhead replied, the renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. So clear. Finally, he gave one thing. Right? By 5.3, Gneyah sa nitya sannyasi Yona dveshti na kankshati Nirdvando hi mahabaho सुखं बन्धात् प्रमुच्यते.
सुखं बन्धात् प्रमुच्यते.
Translation: One who neither hates nor desires the fruits of his activities is bound to be always renounced. Such a person, free from all dualities, easily overcomes material bondage and is completely liberated, O mighty armed Arjuna. 5.4 Sankhya Yogau Prithak Bala
साङ्ख्ययोगौ पृथक् बलाः
Pravadanti na panditaha
प्रवदन्ति न पण्डिताः
एकम अप्यातितः सम्यग् एक अप्यास्थितः सम्यग् उभयोर्विन्दते फलम्.
उभयोर्विन्दते फलम्.
Translation: Only the ignorant speak of devotional service, karma yoga, as being different from analytical study of the material world, Sankhya. Those who are actually learned say that he who applies himself well to one of these paths achieves the results of both. This is Bouncer. 5.5 Yat Sankhye prapyate sthanam
यत्साङ्ख्येन प्राप्यते स्थानम्
तद्योगेरपि गम्यते.
तद्योगेरपि गम्यते.
एकं सांख्यं च योगं च
एकं साङ्ख्यं च योगं च
यः पश्यति स पश्यति.
यः पश्यति स पश्यति.
Translation: One who knows that the position reached by means of analytical study can also be attained by devotional service, and who therefore sees analytical study and devotional service to be on the same level, sees things as they are. 5.6 Sanyasastu mahabaho
संन्यासस्तु महाबाहो
दुःखं माप्तुम् अयोगतः.
दुःखमाप्तुम् अयोगतः.
योगयुक्तो मुनिर्ब्रह्मा
योगयुक्तो मुनिर्ब्रह्मा
न चिरेणाधिगच्छति.
न चिराधिगच्छति.
Translation: Merely renouncing all activities, yet not engaging in the devotional service of the Lord, cannot make one happy. But a thoughtful person engaged in devotional service can achieve the supreme without delay. 5.7 योगयुक्तो विशुद्धात्मा
योगयुक्तो विशुद्धात्मा
विजितात्मा जितेन्द्रियः
विजितात्मा जितेन्द्रियः
सर्वभूतात्मा भूतात्मा
सर्वभूतात्मा भूतात्मा
कुर्वन्नपि न लिप्यते.
कुर्वन्नपि न लिप्यते.
Translation: One who works in devotion, who is a pure soul and who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone and everyone is dear to him. Though always working, such a man is never entangled. 8th and 9th together. नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति
नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति
युक्तो मन्येत तत्त्ववित्.
युक्तो मन्येत तत्त्ववित्.
पश्यन् शृण्वन् स्पृशन् जिघ्रन्
पश्यन् शृण्वन्
स्पृशन् जिघ्रन् अश्नन् गच्छन् स्वपन् श्वसन्
अश्नन् गच्छन् स्वपन् श्वसन्
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 प्रलपन् विसृजन् घृणन्
प्रलपन् विसृजन् गृह्णन्
उन्मिषन् निमिषन्नपि
उन्मिषन् निमिषन्नपि
इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेषु
इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेषु
वर्तन्त इति धारयन्.
वर्तन्त इति धारयन्.
Translation: A person in divine consciousness, although engaged in sleeping, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, moving about, sleeping and breathing, always knows within himself that he actually does nothing at all. Because while speaking, evacuating, receiving or opening or closing his eyes, he always knows that only the material senses are engaged with their objects and he is aloof from them. 10th one. ब्रह्मण्याधाय कर्माणि
ब्रह्मण्याधाय कर्माणि
संगम त्यक्त्वा करोति यः
संगम त्यक्त्वा करोति यः
लिप्यते न स पापेन
लिप्यते न स पापेन
पद्मपत्रं निवाम्भसा.
पद्मपत्रं विवाम्भसा.
It's an analogy. One who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results unto the Supreme Lord, is unaffected by sinful action, as a lotus leaf is untouched by water. 11. Kayena manasa buddhya
कायेन मनसा बुद्ध्या
केवलेरिन्द्रियैरपि
केवलेन्द्रियैरपि
योगिनः कर्म कुर्वन्ति
योगिनः कर्म कुर्वन्ति
संगम त्यक्त्वात्मशुद्धये.
संगम त्यक्त्वात्मशुद्धये.
Translation. The yogis, abandoning attachment, act with body, mind, intelligence, and even with the senses, only for the purpose of purification. 12. Yuktah karma phalam tyaktva
युक्तः कर्मफलं त्यक्त्वा
shantimapnoti naishtikim
शान्तिमाप्नोति नैष्टिकीम्.
ayuktah kamakareण
अयुक्तः कामकारेण
फले सक्तो निबध्यते.
फले सक्तो निबध्यते.
Last translation. The steadily devoted soul attains unadulterated peace because he offers the results of all activities to me. Whereas the person who is not in union with the divine, who is greedy for the fruits of his labor, becomes entangled. 5.1. Please repeat. Arjuna uvacha
अर्जुन उवाच
Sanyasam karmanam Krishna
संन्यासं कर्मणां कृष्ण
Punaryogam cha samshasi
पुनर्योगं च संशसि
Yachreya etayorekam
यच्छ्रेयैतयोरेकम्
Tanme bruhi sunishchitam.
तन्मे ब्रूहि सुनिश्चितम्.
All of us for translation. Arjuna said, O Krishna, first of all you ask me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. Now will you kindly tell me definitely which of the two is more beneficial? Okay, now here from 5.1 to 5.6, Arjuna is asking a clear demarcation between, tell me exactly what is renunciation or what is exactly knowledge. Knowledge, Gyan, Yoga and renunciation is something that it's synonymous. You have knowledge means you know what is the difference between matter and spirit. That means you're going to leave what is matter and take up only spiritual activity. So these, don't get confused if I'm constantly using these words interchangeably. I'll write down those words. Gyan Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, renunciation, knowledge. Okay? They all mean the same. Krishna is interchangeably using these. Gyan Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, renunciation and knowledge is the same. Sankhya Yoga basically means difference between matter and spirit. You should know. Gyan Yoga means knowing that I am definitely something beyond this material world. That is Gyan Yoga. What is renunciation? I know now this is material things. I don't want to do it. That is renunciation. And knowledge? Again, Sankhya Yoga and knowledge are same thing. I'm just giving like a translation for a Sanskrit word. Because Krishna is using it interchangeably, we might get confused. Kabhi Sankhya Yoga bolte, kabhi kuch bolte. So basically this is this. What about Karma Yoga? Karma Yoga or action in Krishna consciousness or working with knowledge. These three also mean not as same as this, but these two things are being compared now.
All these three things
Mean the same.
Karma Yoga.
Yeah, Karma Yoga and action in Krishna consciousness or working with knowledge means the same things.
Means karma.
It means karma yoga. Clear? Now what is Arjun asking? He's comparing these two. Which is better? Is this better or is this better? Is that clear now? Now with this clarity, we'll go ahead.
That to me knowledge and this is working with knowledge.
Working with knowledge.
Working with knowledge.
Working with knowledge. Better. Krishna is saying, now we read the translation. So Krishna is clearly saying this is better than this. Not just knowledge. Once you have knowledge, you have to apply it.
But
And
you
just
have
keep
to have
it.
the knowledge.
Yeah. With knowledge, you have to
Work with
work with the knowledge. Right? Are they two different paths then? It's basically Krishna is talking about a symphony or synchronizing both of them. Along with this, you apply, you work. So this includes both. What does this include?
Only knowledge.
Only one. So why now you understand why Krishna is saying this is better?
practically.
It's more practical. Isn't it? This is incomplete. This is including this. So which is better? Obviously this. So from 5.1 to 5.6, we're going to read how Krishna is emphasizing this is better. There's a comparison. Between what? Between these and these. They interchangeably use. So sometimes you might think, there's so many concepts being discussed. It's not different concepts. The same thing. Because why Krishna is using why is Krishna using different words? Because it's already been used in chapter 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sankhya Yoga we did in chapter 2. Karma Yoga is there in chapter 3. Chapter 4 is, a little bit more about knowledge. And then in the end of the chapter 4, he says, now stand up and fight. So Arjuna is like, he just emphasized how important this transcendental knowledge is. The last verse, 4.42 is, stand up and fight. So he's confused. He's saying that you just said, that action and inaction and inaction and action. That is there. Which verse is that? I've written it. Lost. The googly verses then what? 4.16, 4.18, somewhere there only. 18 it is. Yeah, karmanya karma ya paschet, akarmani cha karmaya. 4.18. Can you see? One who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is intelligible among men. And he is a transcendental position, although engaged in all sorts of activities. So he's thinking if it's the same thing, then I will renounce. I was thinking it's better. If it's the same thing, then better renounce. Why get into the jhamela of activity? Because right now he's thinking activity means trouble. That's why you see all Mayavadi people who are aspiring to merge with the Brahman. Why? Why merge with the Brahman? Imagine if I put you in a room and I lock you. Kuch nahi hai andar. It's peace for once. Sometimes when you're so engaged in things, you just feel okay. Just give me my space. Even between partners, you have this, my space, me time, whatever you call it. This synonyms. And then what? You'll stay in the locked room for years and years together. You will hanker for some activity because that's the nature of the soul, to be active. What will you do in that locked room? So merging with the Brahman is like being in that locked room. Because they're so, tormented with material activities. They think material activities means, or they think activities means problem because they have no knowledge of spiritual activity. Spiritual activity, peace is simply a byproduct. When you engage in spiritual activity, peace is simply a byproduct. You get much more. You get purification, which is not there in the Brahman platform.
It comes by default.
Comes by default. Purification again is a
Byproduct.
It's again a byproduct. You're engaging in Krishna consciousness, purity is by default going to come to you. Purification of heart. That's why Krishna emphasizes that is, working in Krishna consciousness is more important. That's why even sannyas, there are many types of sannyas actually. It's there in Nectar of Devotion, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Rupa Goswami speaks, there's Kshetra sannyas. Kshetra sannyas means you take a vow, you take sannyas, you're out of the family responsibilities, and of course you're old and now you're out of the family responsibilities. That's the perfect varnashram. that you've done everything and now you're in your old age, you're plus 60, you have taken sannyas. Kshetra sannyas means you'll not get out of a particular territory. Say they take Kshetra sannyas in Vrindavan. Whatever happens, they'll not go out of Vrindavan or Jagannath Puri, or there are many yogis and babas who take Kshetra sannyas. There's Babaji sannyas, means you're completely cut out of the world. You will not talk to any materialistic person. They call them Babajis. But what does ISKCON give sannyas? Vaishnava Sampradayas. Sannyas means you have to preach. You cannot stay in one place. You cannot cut out. You will have to take disciples. You will have to preach. Vaishnava philosophy means this. Sannyas means you've cut out from the material affairs, but you're dedicated completely to preaching the process of Krishna consciousness. You being an example yourself, of course, without doing that, without purification, then that's not possible. Right? So Krishna here is trying to tell Arjuna that you're not meant for this type of sannyas. So you act in Krishna consciousness. Even the best sannyas is where you're acting in Krishna consciousness. That is the best sannyas. So I think later on also, there is one comparison of Krishna defines what is sannyas. Can we start with 5.1? We read the verse and translation. I need someone to read the perfect part. Shall we start? We'll go in a line then.
In this 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that work as devotional service is better than dry mental speculation. Devotional service is easier than the later because, being transcendental in nature, it frees one from reaction. In the 2nd chapter, preliminary knowledge of the soul and its entanglement in the material body were explained. How to get out of this material engagement by Buddhi Yoga or devotional service was also explained therein. In the 3rd chapter, it was explained that a person who is suited on the platform of knowledge no longer has any duties to perform. And in the 4th chapter, the Lord told Arjuna that all kinds of sacrificial work culminate into knowledge. However, at the end of the 4th chapter, the Lord advised Arjuna to wake up and fight, being situated in perfect knowledge.
Yes, we see it's a whole summary. Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, Chapter 4. And then in the 4th chapter, the last thing he says is get up and fight. So then what happens?
Therefore, by simultaneously stressing the importance of both work and devotion and in action and knowledge, Krishna has perplexed Arjuna and confused his determination. Arjuna understands that renunciation in knowledge involves cessation of all kinds of work performed as sense activities. But if one performs work in a devotion service, then how is work stopped? In other words, he thinks that sannyasa or renunciation in knowledge should be altogether free from all kinds of activity. Because work and renunciation appear to him to be
Incompatible. Is that right? Yeah, so now you understand what is Arjuna's mentality? Much like us. We feel that is incompatible. Hoega nahi, very difficult, not possible.
He appears not to have understood the work in full knowledge, is non-reactive and therefore the same as inaction. He inquires therefore whether he should cease work altogether or work with full knowledge.
Yeah. So now he is asking, tell me one thing, which is better. So what is 5.1? Arjuna's confusion. Is it? He thinks knowledge and work are, what's that word? Incompatible. (5.2) Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Sannyasa Karma Yogascha Nishreyasa Karaubhav Tayostu Karma Sannyasa Karma Yogo Vishishyate. All of us, translation. The personality of Godhead replied, the renunciation of work and work in devotion are both good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotional service is better than renunciation of work. So decisively, which is better? Can you imagine? Krishna said it so clearly. But still people have this mental block that Krishna consciousness means renunciation. Isn't Krishna made it so clear here? He says both are good. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to have knowledge or to renounce. But work, for me, what is better? Work in devotional service is better than simply renunciation of work altogether. Who's translated?
Fruitive activities seeking self-gratification are cause for material bondage. As long as one is engaged in activities aimed at improving the standard of bodily comfort, one is sure to transmigrate to different types of bodies, thereby continuing material bondage perpetually. Srimad Bhagavatam confirms this as follows. People are mad after self-gratification and they do not know that this present body, which is full of miseries, is the result of one's fruitive activities in the past. Although this body is temporary, it is always giving one trouble in many ways. Therefore, to act for self-gratification is not good. One is considered to be a failure in life as long as he makes no inquiry about his real identity. As long as he does not know his real identity, he has to work for fruitive results, for self-gratification. And as long as one is engrossed in the consciousness of self-gratification, one has to transmigrate from one body to another. Although the mind may be engrossed in fruitive activities and influenced by ignorance, one must develop a love for devotional service to Vasudeva. Only then can one have the opportunity to get out of the bondage of material existence.
Right. So here the last two lines of the Srimad Bhagavatam, that 5.5th canto, just reading the last two lines of the entire 3 paras that are given. Pritirna yavarmai vasudeve namuchyate deha yogena tavat. It's there, it's here only. Just above what she read, just above that. Skip the verses. So he said, Pritirna yavarmai vasudeve. He said, agreed. Srimad Bhagavatam says that agreed, activities are very troublesome. Activities are the ones which has kept us in this material bondage. And activities is why we're getting again and again material bodies. And because we got this material body, it's a cause of trouble, birth, death, old age, disease. By default, package deal. And then 3 miseries, Adhyatmik, Adhidaivik, Adhibhautik. What is that? Adhyatmik is miseries from body and mind. This body will give us so many problems. This mind gives us so much of problem. And the thing will be so small but will be elaborated by the mind. Simply so much anxiety, depression. All these things are miseries from body and mind. Adhyatmik. Adhidaivik is natural calamities. Is it under our control? Even economical crisis. These are Adhidaivik problems. Right? And then natural calamities like droughts, tsunamis, earthquakes. Is this under our control? No. These things are going to happen. It's a material world. It's a special package deal. You come here with a material body, these things come along. The last is Adi Bhautik. Any other living entity giving us trouble. Could be anyone. Neighbor, children, spouse, politician, anyone giving trouble. By default, it will be there. Adhyatmik, body and mind. Body and mind, natural calamities, and then other living entities giving us miseries or problems or trouble. Right? So this is along with the material body. So then, who is considered a failure according to these verses in Srimad Bhagavatam?
Who does not love the Lord?
Who does not love the Lord? That means the last
One
lines.
who doesn't like.
Now, who is considered a failure in life?
One who does not inquire into his identity.
Yeah, one who does not inquire about his identity is a failure in life. This is the words from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, chapter 5, 3 verses, 4 to 6. So it's there in 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th line of the translation of that Srimad Bhagavatam verse. One is considered to be a failure in life as long as he makes no inquiry about his real identity. That is extremely important. That knowledge is extremely important. So although if we know, okay, now this knowledge is not there, I don't know, I'm still in ignorance. But then what is the easier process? That you develop a love for Vasudev. That son of Vasudev is Vasudev, that is Krishna. If you develop love for him, what happens? Your ignorance is destroyed. Automatically what happens is, if you see here, these 3 definitions that I've written, Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness, working with knowledge. What knowledge? That I am not the body but the soul. Automatically Chalo, right now I'm not behaving in that platform. But still if I'm serving Krishna, what am I doing?
Devotional service.
There's one platform knowing that I'm not the body, I'm the soul. And there's another platform where I'm serving Krishna. Which is better? Serving Krishna. Because I'm automatically beyond the platform of the body. What does the soul do basically? What is the constitutional position of the soul? Satchidananda. To enjoy? To love?
To serve the Lord.
To serve the Lord. Yeah. To love, but to love whom? To serve, but to serve whom? The Lord. That is the constitutional position. If you're simply doing this, it's only a matter of time that you're out of ignorance and you'll realize that I'm not this body but the soul. So then now you understand why this is better than this. Simply getting knowledge, simply knowing that I am beyond this material world, I am beyond this material body, yes. But then what? Is that it? You have to take the next step, right? Krishna says in 18.54, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati. That Brahma Bhuta platform is knowing that I am beyond this material world. Then you don't hanker for anything, you don't lament for anything, because you know this is all material, all temporary, right? But then there's another step. That is, once you know that you're the soul, then you have to understand what is the constitutional position of the soul. Where do I belong? I belong to the spiritual world. I don't belong to this material world. I belong to the spiritual world. I have spiritual activities. I have a spiritual mind. I have a spiritual body. I have spiritual intelligence. I have spiritual ego. All which is covered by ignorance now. And by practicing devotional service, why Krishna emphasizes so much? One whole chapter especially to emphasize working in Krishna consciousness. Why? Because he knows by doing this, automatically you will come to your original. You don't have to hanker after knowledge. You don't have to do all these sacrifices which is there in chapter 4. Automatically you get what you need the most. Your constitutional position. Right? Next paragraph.
Therefore, jnana or knowledge that one is not this material body, but the spirit soul is
not sufficient for liberation. Is it sufficient for liberation? It's not sufficient for liberation.
One has to act in the status of spirit soul. Otherwise, there is no escape from the material bondage.
Right. So, if you know that you're not this body,
No.
If you know you're not this body, you're not the soul, is that enough? No. Because where will that take you at the most? Brahman. Then what happens?
You fall back down.
You'll have to come back down. Just like I keep you in a locked room, you will have desires again. Desire means
Coming back.
come down again, right?
Action in Krishna consciousness is not, however, action on the future platform. Activities performed in full knowledge strengthens one's advancement in real knowledge. Without Krishna consciousness, mere renunciation or fruitive activity does not actually purify the heart of the conditioned soul.
Right, here there are so many, even in Srimad Bhagavatam, there are so many passages given of Brahmavadis or those who are studying the Vedas, the Vedantis. Like for the example is 4 Kumaras, Brahma's sons. He had quadruplets. Their first sons is the 4 Kumaras. They were reading the Shastra, they were reading the Vedas. And then what? They didn't know about the Supreme Lord. They did not have, but when they got the darshan of the Supreme Lord, they thought this is the best. When they could simply, it's there in 4th canto, can't recollect, it's there in Srimad Bhagavatam.
They only go out to meet the Lord and kick him on his chest.
No, that is Bhrigumuni. This is, they cursed Jai Vijay to fall down at Vaikuntha Dwara.
Because they don't allow him inside.
They could simply smell the tulsi which is at the lotus feet of the Lord. Just by smelling that, they immediately fell in love with the Lord. Can you imagine how powerful the Lord is? Simply by smelling from a distance, and they didn't even see the Lord. From a distance they could smell the tulsi which was offered at the lotus feet of the Lord. That's why Krishna is emphasizing devotional service is extremely important, because he knows the potency of it. It's direct connection to him. When you chant Hare Krishna, what happens? It's direct connection to Krishna. It's so purifying. And not only your ignorance, not only material bondage, everything breaks. Even your faith in material activities will break. On that? Of course, all of us want it, We have so much faith in material activities. We have so much faith in this material world. But that's what Yudhishthira Maharaj says. Everyone is dying, but मैं नहीं. मेरे तो है अभी बहुत साल. All of us think like that, isn't it? So it fades. So this here, Prabhupada writes a very important line. Activities performed in full knowledge strengthen one's advancement in real knowledge. Now this knowledge is here. It is simply knowledge. And here I am working. And what is happening? Even the knowledge that I have will give me some realizations. Point number 1, Krishna makes it clear. Work in devotion is better. Point number 2, why is it better? Because it simply reminds us of our constitutional position. Point number 3 is that working in knowledge, when you're working in knowledge, what happens? The knowledge that you already have, it strengthens. And suppose if I have, I've read like a whole book on self-improvement or something, and when I actually try to apply these things, what happens? Now when you see, it works, then you are more inclined to try more things. So when you're working in Krishna conscious principles, when you're offering bhoga, for example, when you see your family members are getting purified, when you see your children, their behavior changes, when you start chanting, what happens? You see the change in yourself. Then what happens? The knowledge that you already have, the theory, is more strengthened. And you see the change in yourself. Can I show it to you? You can't. It's something that, a pudding which you have to eat yourself. And then realize yourself that how sweet it is, how nice it is, how tasty it is. So Krishna says, knowledge to hai, but these people are dry. They'll have dry realizations, क्योंकि कभी apply ही नहीं किया है. These, you have knowledge, you're applying it in the material world, and you see the spiritual nature of these activities. You will get realizations which will simply strengthen your knowledge. And the most important thing is, when knowledge increases, it purifies one's heart. This ignorance or an impure heart is the cause of our material bondage, isn't it? Material bondage is because of an impure heart. Material desires is because of an impure heart, isn't it? So when this knowledge, when it gives you realization, when you think, when you dwell on it more, it purifies one's heart. You got her? Without Krishna consciousness, mere renunciation of fruitive activities does not actually purify the heart of a conditioned soul. As long as the heart is not purified, one has to work on the fruitive platform. Okay?
But action in Krishna consciousness automatically helps one escape the result of fruitive action, so that one need not descend to the material platform.
Right. So actions in Krishna consciousness is not giving you a material reaction. Material reaction means coming back. When there's no material reactions in a stock, what happens? You go back to Godhead. Right? So therefore, action in Krishna consciousness is always superior to renunciation, which always entails a risk of falling. Because here, there's only knowledge. There is no purity of heart. No purity of heart means material desires are still deep sitting inside. One day they will come up like a volcano, and then where will you go? You can't go anywhere. You will come down to the material platform. There's always a risk of falling, as Prabhupada says. Okay?
Renunciation without Krishna consciousness is incomplete.
Incomplete.
As is confirmed by Srila Rupa Goswami in his
Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. When we were giving exams in the Bhaktivedanta Academy, that time one of these verses we had to by heart. Because it's so important. Prapanchikataya buddhya hari sambandhi vastuna. Mumukshubhi parityago vairagyam falgu katyate. This actually is there in NOD, Nectar of Devotion. Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu is another word for Nectar of Devotion. So here, vairagyam falgu katyate. I'll just read the meaning. When persons eager to achieve liberation They renounce things related to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, thinking them to be material. Their renunciation is called incomplete. Or this Falgu Vairagya, this last word, Vairagyam Falgu Katyate. Falgu is, you heard a Markat Vairagya? You know what's a Markat? Markat is a monkey. When a monkey has grapes, and when he tastes the grapes are very sour, what does he do? He throws it down. Activities are giving me problem. So, no activities. Activities are giving me material bondage. It's giving me birth again and again. It's giving me material body again and again. It's giving me distress again and again. So, no activities. Renunciation. She is calling here, Rupa Goswami is calling it Falgu, or it's incomplete. You have to know the spiritual qualities of things. Things can be spiritualized. In fact, all the 6 anarthas that we have, illusion, pride, greed, anger, envy and lust. Except for envy, everything else can be spiritualized. Lust can be turned into love. Anger. Hanuman was angry. What did he do? He served Ram better with that anger. He burned the Ravan's Lanka. He was angry. And then passion, Arjun's passion, what did he do? Was he peaceful in the war? You can't be peaceful and fight. You have to be passionate. Then you can fight. But it was in the service of Lord. Greed. Be greedy for prasad, for kheer. You can be greedy for more association of devotees. Correct? So all these things can be dovetailed except envy. Lust turns into love. Except envy. So your prapanchikataya buddhi means everything that you have, every material resource that you have can be spiritualized. Your house you have.
I think it's the Lord's house.
Yeah, it's the Lord's house. Worship Him in your house. Then does it belong to you?
No.
It belongs to the Lord. Everything that is cooked is for the Lord. You're raising your children, the children that you're raising. Whose children are they? Yours? They're the Lord's. How well will you treat them then? When we get married, when Maharaj came for my marriage, the first thing that he said was, he told my husband, don't think that she's your wife. My husband was like, what? What should I think? He said, she is Krishna's daughter put under your care. It was so sweet, I know. And then he said me, don't think he's your husband. I'm like, okay, fine. He's Krishna's son put under your care. So how much more well will you take that person for granted then? You're taking Krishna for granted. Will you take your wife for granted? You're taking Krishna for granted. So simple, isn't it? We think spiritual life is so complex. It's not complex, it's very simple because we've gone so much into complexity, it's difficult to become simple now. That is the problem. Right? So here Rupa Goswami says it very clearly, if you're simply renouncing thinking that things are material, your renunciation is incomplete. If you can apply everything that you have, this pen, this duster, this book, everything, this classroom is meant for Krishna. It's spiritual. Right? In this bag. You keep a wheel bag in it. You keep the Bhagavad Gita in it. It's spiritual. Yes or no? The pen that you have in your hand, what are you writing? Love letters? Yeah, to Krishna. Spiritual. Why not? Everything can be spiritualized. Some people say, no, we buy expensive things. Okay, offer to Krishna, क्या problem है?
That's an easier way out there.
No, but you should
That's
have
an
a
easier way
mind.
out there.
You know what it's going to do? You know what's it going to do? It's going to purify your heart.
Nobody does it. It's so easy to say.
First,
The heart has to
No,
come.
everybody
I know,
does
yeah.
it.
फिर से करते रहो.
We can justify anything, but he says that Vairagya is not what is recommended. He says that everybody comes with a quota. So there's some material quota allotted for every person. So if you come from a particular background, that is the quota allocated to you by Krishna. So you don't have to become totally, travel by bus, travel by train.
Exactly.
Your allocation is a this thing, so you use that. And you have to be comfortable and you will know how much is comfortable for you. You don't buy that car by, getting it through EMI. Then you know that you're going outside your
exactly.
budget. So it's not...
You'll buy what is intel. I mean, it's probably, imagine if your husband is earning some 5-6 lakhs and you're buying things which are 10 lakhs.
Then it's
It's
No, but even like I just said, offer to Krishna. Okay, I just buy an expensive bag. It's okay, I'll offer it to Krishna, but I'm happily
Yeah,
using
you're
it.
going-
I'm
you're-
justifying it, saying
They are
that.
going to
Oh, it's
But are
a
you?
ritual.
But are you? But what I'm trying to say is that how much will you buy?
How much you can afford, that is fine. But then there is no end to that as well.
It's okay. But I'm saying at least start somewhere. At least start somewhere. What happens is people go into a very different extreme. This is also an extreme.
Yeah.
People can go into this extreme that everything offer to Krishna. Chalo, leather bag we offer to Krishna. Does Krishna want that?
Leather bag, obviously not.
You have the example of.
But then you're going into material, na?
Because he's owning a Mercedes.
But he's
car.
given it to
Yeah.
you.
He's one of our biggest.
He's only given it to
Then
you.
where are you cutting it, yeah?
Okay, so is buying a Mercedes car wrong?
No?
If you can afford it,
Of course, if that is
I'm assuming that you can afford. I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about foolishness here.
Yeah.
Please, foolish people are out of the range here. I'm talking about
then it's
intelligence.
God's mercy. Then it's God's mercy that we can.
I consider it as God's mercy.
Arjuna, Yudhishthir, they would wear a golden helmet on their head. Is it Maya?
No, I mean, that was, they were kings.
They were using it. And it was beneficial for them.
Exactly. They have to dress up like that. If they're wearing silken robes, is it Maya?
Secondly, even these all expensive bags are either made of calf leather or some.
Oh, so many are canvas. I mean, I'm not saying only bags. I'm saying, okay, jewelry. It could be
Yeah,
anything.
jewelry also.
You'll say, yeah, okay, you'll splurge and you'll say, okay, but it's for Krishna. I mean, isn't that like the loophole in this whole thing?
It's not.
You offer it to him and then you
It's Vairagya. Because taking the effort,
And then you don't have the attachment. Yeah, I think that's
taking the effort, the one thing is, what I'm trying to say here is that, don't get me wrong, now, number one, foolish people are out of here. Okay, they're not in this classroom. Assuming. Number two. Assuming. Huh? Number two, even if you buy something expensive, you have to ask yourself why you're buying it. If you have some occasion coming up and you bought something,
I'll take it to the mandir.
even to give it to someone else, to wear it first, to offer it first, is also going to take some change of heart. Yeah. To put it for Radharani first, to put it for your deities first. That is also putting aside ego. We might think, ठीक है भगवान को तेरे ऑफिस तो मेरे को आने वाला है ना. It's okay. It's okay. What is coming back is Krishna's prasad. It's not just a piece of junk jewelry anymore. It's their prasad. It's going to purify your heart. What I'm saying, at least begin somewhere. In our house, pizza, pasta, everything is cooked. Somebody might say it's atyahar, it's too much eating, it's too much lavish living. ठीक है, but we're offering it to our deities first. Then what comes is mine. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is the guru of Prabhupada, just one day, in Bengal, mangoes, they are crazy about mangoes. In Bengal or even in Gujarat, but everywhere, but Bengal especially, the minute mango comes, it's in your house. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, the guru of Prabhupada, he was very young, small boy, I think just about 4 or 5 years old. Yeah, he took up and he ate the mango. And Bhakti Vinod Thakur, who was his father, he said, did you offer it to Krishna? He was not chastising him, he just generally asked, Arey, wo abhi aaya tha, did you offer it to Krishna? And he felt so guilty. Never in his life he had mangoes again.
See, he was an elevated soul.
A child, 4-year-old. But I'm just saying that once your consciousness is like that, that is what matters. Material things, they are going to be there by default around you. If your heart is not pure and you do renunciation, even if someone else wears that jewelry, your heart will burn out of envy. What will you do then?
But that is it. Okay, this is you're putting it in front of God, picking it up and wearing it again.
It's okay.
But then you should have that consciousness of at least giving it to him. Try.
That too, I mean,
Try it. Begin.
Try.
Begin, no? That's what I'm saying.
To
Begin.
know the reaction. Once you
Getting
try.
into all
I do it
this
so I
draws you
know.
more towards the material world. I think. Getting into
Try
all
na.
these things.
Then you
It
see
might,
the reaction.
if you use it as an
it
excuse.
doesn't justify you.
I'm not justifying, I'm just saying at least begin somewhere. If you simply have this consciousness that material things means Maya, no, you can apply things to
And you
Krishna.
also said that you have to actually understand what are you buying the thing for. So when
I
you buy
said
a
that.
3 lakh bag to keep a big bag inside, then that is foolish.
That
But
is
you are buying a 3 lakh bag.
I disagree.
What do you mean?
But
That's a 3 bag or something?
with this.
I'll put it in.
That's wrong what you're saying.
No, I disagree. I'll tell you why.
I didn't understand.
No, I'll tell you why I disagree. Because, I mean, okay, 3 lakh. I'm just taking this example. Maybe for X person 3 lakhs
That
means a
is
lot,
nothing.
but maybe for somebody 3 lakhs means nothing.
So that's the quota that he's or she is.
Yeah, that is the quota that she or he is.
They're earning in crores in Arabs. For them, 3 lakhs bag is like sasta. Then again, better. Can we talk about principles here? Let's not talk about details. Let's talk about principles, because detailing is going to be different in different cases. Yeah?
We should know our limit. And
Exactly. Now, detailing is something that can be personally worked out. Because I don't know what is your husband's income, I don't know what is your husband's. For everyone, it's going to be different. Isn't it? So the one thing is principle. The principle is material things will not be Maya depending on your consciousness. What is your consciousness? How are you looking at it? If are you looking at it as, ye to mera, ye to abhi, this so I wanted, by I've seen it so I wanted. That's a contaminated consciousness. Then you have to understand where you are standing. Right? You have to understand, right? Even if your children do it, you can understand. You can't understand for yourself. Even when your children, when they do zid, don't you tell them, "Arey, ye faltu zid hai." You can't understand for yourself then. And that means it's real bad. Your consciousness is going somewhere else only then. Yeah, if you can't define.
You can't define yet, it is wrong, you feel. Na? You're
Yeah.
yet in Maya, no? It's yet Maya only.
So it's okay. See, impurity is there. Right now, all of us, a lotus flower is in muck, but it's not gathering muck. That's its nature. It's got that oil surface or whatever. Krishna uses that analogy here. He says that is the ideal standard. That you come to that standard. Till that time, what will you do? Just assume, meko to wo standard milega hi nahi to jane do. Are you going to do that? Are you going to put an effort towards being Krishna conscious? I'm saying put the effort at least. If it's
You're anyway going to buy
inevitably...
what you're buying. I mean, if you're anyway going to buy what you're buying, then the first step is at least to offer
Yeah,
it.
might as well you offer it.
And
That's what Rupa Goswami is saying. Rupa Goswami is saying, be more practical. Renunciation is stupid with an impure heart.
sometimes it's good for social status also. To give an example.
Yeah. I give example of Pandavas, no? Then.
Balaji had to buy a Mercedes. So he's one of the biggest devotees of the temple. So people
Yeah.
started asking, why is he using this in Maya and using a Mercedes and all that. But then Maharaj explained that for his social status, sometimes he needs it. When he comes here, he doesn't use it at the temple. At the temple, he's standing in queue with everybody.
And if you don't have the attachment to it, I guess that's
That takes time. I will not make a comment on that, Falguni, because it takes time.
I think it's the consciousness. Because suppose if you're buying it, I mean, suppose if you're going into a store, okay? Today, I'm just saying, you can go into a store and you can spend $10 on a biscuit, okay? And that $10, the beggar will think, अरे कितना waste है biscuit, 10 रुपए का biscuit खरीदी है और 10 रुपए में तो एक पूरा लाडी पाव आ सकता था. I'm just talking, okay?
Yeah, right.
But for somebody who's spending that $10 on a biscuit, it has no value, or $10 on a balloon, it has no value.
It's a matter of
It's not even
consciousness.
thinking of it, it's a matter of consciousness, and they're doing it as a matter of fact.
And the thing is also,
Yeah.
sorry, you complete. You complete.
So you're doing it as a matter of fact, and you're doing it because it's something that you're used to, and you're not thinking about it. And if you're not doing it because you're attached to it, or you're not doing it to create envy in others, you're just doing it because that's something you've always done. I don't think I don't know. I think that is what
Matter of principles. Try to keep your consciousness.
Yeah. That's a quota you've come with.
Isha Vasyam Idam Sarvam. Everyone has their quota. Everyone comes. But दाने दाने पे लिखा खाने वाले का नाम. Where that grain has to go will go, no matter how much you try or how much you try to, keep away. So what I'm saying, dry renunciation is useless here. Simply thinking that this material world, these relationships, everything is Maya, but you're still hankering for it inside. You're not pure yet that you can give up everything. Then it's useless. If you know that Krishna, I have these tendencies. But detachment works only when, as you said, you're detached, but it doesn't come automatically. You have to try to be attached to Krishna. That's what I'm trying to emphasize. The final point is, if you want to improve your consciousness, you have to work on your attachment to Krishna. Without doing that, detachment is never going to come. Because this material world, Krishna himself says, Daili Esha Gunamayi, he said, that's my Maya, that's my power. You think it's easy to overcome? It's very difficult. big sannyasis fall down seeing women. They've been away from women for 30, 40, 50, 60 years. Old men. People think, old matlab, all the senses are dying and you are only dying, you're only half on the bed and half on the cupboard. No, but the senses are still active, They also get attracted. Detachment doesn't come by age. Detachment just doesn't come just because you know spiritual things. It will come when you put it to practice. Attachment to Krishna. Attachment to Krishna will automatically bring in detachment for you. That's there in the future verses. We'll discuss that. And there's one analogy which Baldev Vidyabhushan gives. He says that if you have one hand, you have to do things with one hand. You have a rock in your hand and you pick up the axe. What do? You have a rock in your hand and with the same hand you have to pick up the axe. What do?
You have to drop the rock.
You have to drop the rock and pick up the axe. Is it two different things that you've done?
Yeah.
Is it two different things that you've done? To pick up the axe, you put the rock down. When you pick up attachment to Krishna, automatically your material attachments will come down. You don't have to put effort for material attachments at least. If you think consciously now, every time buying के लिए एक tension headache लेना पड़ेगा. It sounds like that, isn't it? My God, before entering a mall, I'll have to read the Bhagavad Gita, read that, No, it's not possible. The more attached you are to Krishna, automatically you see things as they are.
Things feel.
Yeah. Okay. Is that okay? To pick up the axe, you have to put the rock down. Pick up Krishna first. The material attachments will always be done. Everyone is so confused, So Rupa Goswami says it's very simple. Pick up Krishna, everything will come. Material fever comes down. Renunciation is complete when it is acknowledged that everything in existence belongs to the Lord. That bag, that Mercedes, that everything that you're talking about, it actually belongs to the Lord. I'm taking it as my quota for use. It's in my care right now. The husband that I'm accepting, the wife that I'm accepting, is in my care for this particular time. Is it going to be forever mine? People talk, 7 janam, this, that. 7 janam bhi to khatam hone wala hai na. Is it not? 7 janam to hota nahi ek to. Uppar se whenever it is, it's going to get over, isn't it? Yeah, just today, Maharaj was describing that there is one tree which is in Sweden, standing for 9,500 years. Can you imagine that one Jivatma is stuck in that tree for how long? 9,500 means no chance of Krishna consciousness for 9,500 years. Don't want to get stuck, pick up Krishna. Now, so one should understand that factually nothing belongs to anyone. Then where is the question of renunciation? If I come to your house, Mataji, I don't know your name. Rashmi Mataji. I go to Rashmi Mataji's house and I say, मैंने इनका घर त्याग दिया. What will you say?
No, there's definitely Tiago, my house is not yours.
Exactly. You get the point now? You get the point? I come to your house, till I sit in your car, I sit in her car. She drops me every day. I sit in her car and I tell her driver, मैंने ये गाड़ी त्याग दी. What did he say? ये तो मार्केट का है. You say that, no? You say, it doesn't belong to you. What will you renounce? Go to buy anything now.